This is episode 34 of the TO SportsTalk podcast. I'm your host, James Price, along with Evan Brown. How's it going, buddy? On this Saturday night with the Leaf game on. They're down 1-0 to the Bruins right now. But
you know what? That doesn't matter because we're actually doing the podcast. Now, James Price, what happened 2 Wednesdays ago when we told the fans of the TO SportsTalk podcast and the main channel we were doing the podcast 2 Wednesdays ago? What happened?
Okay, so let me just break it down here real quick. So I've been an Android person my entire life when it comes to phones. Yeah, I flipped to Apple a couple weeks ago. Actually, it's been like,
I think we mentioned that
3 weeks ago or something
on the
like
podcast.
That. We might have actually done that, and there you go. There's proof. And so what happened was, on Androids, you have the volume button as your vibrate and then your sound with calling and whatever. It's the same thing.
Hold on. Mind you, me and James discussed that he was coming over at 12:30.
Okay, so bottom line, I really slept in. That's what we're getting at here. Anyways, I didn't realize on the iPhone that the volume thing, I know of it, but it just...
The switch from vibrate to
right.
Yeah.
And it didn't really clue into me to do it, I guess as late as it was. It didn't really clue into me to turn it on sound. I just had it, my alarms are set, I'm good to go.
So is this Apple's fault or is this your fault?
No, it's my fault. Of course it's my fault.
So you're not blaming the phone. Well, you know what? That's the main thing.
Well, I'm blaming the phone because it's got the stupid feature. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. It's my fault. It's my fault, guys. I apologize. Yeah. And then on Saturday, we said we were going to do the podcast, and it was just a lot of miscommunication on both our sides. But we're back here Saturday. It's been, 2.5 weeks, it feels like. Or was it actually 2.5 weeks? Or a week and a half?
It was, I think it's 2 weeks. I think it's a week.
Last Saturday, we were going to do one. We didn't do it. It's been 2 weeks?
So that means way more to talk about. So if you want to just...
Yeah, we're gonna
base it off that.
We're gonna get right into it. I mean, the Toronto Raptors, guys. We're gonna start right off with them, and another win today against the New York Knicks, 128-110. 112. Sorry, as they're now 12-1 on the year.
Best start in franchise history. Now, obviously, the emergence. Well, not really the emergence of Pascal Siakam, but he's looked unbelievable. He's averaging 18 points a game, good field goal percentage, everything like that.
He's averaging 12.5 a game, but
12.5 a game.
12.5 a game.
I keep looking at that PPG on your phone.
Yeah, no, it's probably the minutes per game. No, I don't know what you were looking at.
Yeah, I don't know something. But 12, so a serviceable starter.
12.5 without today's game, where he threw up 23.
So that just averages points. I guess that'd be like a point higher or 2
probably
points higher. So maybe close to 13 points.
Yeah, probably about 13 points a game he's averaging right now. Which, I mean, look, we heard all the hype in the offseason about Pascal Siakam. We didn't really know what we were actually going to see in a real game atmosphere. What we were going to get from Pascal. And clearly, we're seeing that. We're talking, I mean, I know it's really early to talk about, and we're hearing it all over the place now. Comeback player of the year?
I don't know about in the year because last year he did fairly well.
6 points a game?
He was a rookie. He was a late round. Exactly. He was a late round rookie, and I don't know about best comeback. Rather, he didn't come back from an injury. Most improved player. I think that's what you're basing it off.
Most improved. Yes.
Comeback.
It felt weird coming out of my mouth. I'm like, oh, that doesn't sound right.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And
most improved. Yes.
Out of these, because we played 13 games, obviously we're 12-1. Kawhi Leonard didn't play in four of them. Mm-hmm. That just proves this team has depth, which we already knew this team had depth. We knew this. The bench mob was back, and one of those players on the bench mob was promoted to starter.
Yeah,
and Pascal Siakam.
And you said 4 games without Kawhi Leonard. May I add 2 of those are back-to-back situations, Utah and LA, and the Raptors manhandled both those teams.
And the only game we lost was against the Milwaukee Bucks. We didn't have our star player, and mind you, they didn't have theirs.
Look, the Raptors, they just didn't play well on the road. Okay.
It
happens. One game.
They have 1 loss. We're 12-1.
They've lost. I mean, yeah, so they beat us. That's great.
Smoking LeBron in the Lakers, might I add.
Yeah, LeBron didn't even play in the fourth quarter at all.
I'm quite shocked about
That's what I said in my video. I was really shocked that he didn't touch the floor at all. Even when, because at one point it was like 20-something. I'm like, this game's in the bag. They got it to about 10. And I'm like, here comes LeBron. 2 or 3 minutes left. They're down by 10. Here comes LeBron. He never touched the court.
And he carries teams. He carried the Cavs for
beating the Raptors
all long. Exactly.
That's it.
Without Kyrie Irving, he carried that team for a season.
Yeah.
Right? So, I mean, that kind of boggles my mind. But you know what, Raptor fans? Let's just all breathe, take a nice breath, and just enjoy that we're first in the league. By far.
Yeah.
Well, mind you, the
Golden
Bucks
State,
are
Golden State lost. No, the Bucks lost today to the Clippers.
Well, you have it right.
Clippers in LA in overtime as Lou Williams hit the buzzer beater shot there. But with that loss, they're 9-3 and we're 12-1. We are 2.5 games up on first place. If you guys want to look at it that way.
So this is a question for you. Now, obviously, it's super early right now, but what is the last team that their coaches won back-to-back Coach of the Years? I know it's not the same one, but I mean team-wise.
Oh my goodness!
I can't think of any. Maybe Eric Spoelstra off the Miami Heat. Maybe.
But different coaches?
No, but like
just the same
team
twice.
Same team twice, pretty much. But for us, it's just different coaches.
Yeah,
I don't know, but this could be a dark horse candidate.
Look, I'm loving what I'm seeing from Nick Nurse so far.
Too. I am
what
too.
I've loved with him, he's not afraid to make a change if he has to. You know what I noticed in the Lakers game especially. Like, the Raptors were up by 20 for most of the game, which is fantastic and all. And I'm really happy that that's the case. But the fact of when the Lakers went on a 6 or 8-0 run and they were on a roll, Nick Nurse calls a timeout, gets everyone sorted out, draws up a play, Raptors get a quick bucket, and they're back in action. And that happened on countless occasions on the road, for that matter. And it happened again today. Coming out of the third quarter, the Raptors did not have a good start to the third quarter. They were up 11. At one point, they were only up by 3 in the third quarter. He calls a timeout. They change things up.
Yeah.
And then they go back up 10, and then clearly they were up by 21 at one point. So.
Oh no, the Raptors team itself and core players just needed a change of scenery when it came to Dwayne Casey. Dwayne Casey was a great coach. He couldn't take you far in the playoffs, though. No. I don't care what you say with this team. The coach doesn't help as well. I don't care what you said with this team giving up, whether that be Lowry, DeRozan giving up. The coach, you have to give some of the heat to the coach as well. And Dwayne Casey was a great. We got what 50-something odd wins in the regular season.
59 last year.
He's a great regular season coach. Not too sure about playoffs.
And the thing, a great example of what you just said is game. I don't know which game it was against Cleveland, where the Raptors were on the road and they had it real close. I don't remember. Fred VanVleet was clearly hurting, right? I mean, he was.
This was last year.
Yeah, he was injured. It was
yeah.
I think it was his shoulder or something.
This was like at the end of the season, close.
It was in the playoffs, but but yeah, in the season
last
he was
5 games or something.
Yeah,
of the regular season.
He missed the last few games. He didn't play some of the playoffs, and then he came back for one of the Cleveland games. And in late game, this team is in tight with the Cavs. Look, I know Fred VanVleet. I know Fred VanVleet was out there all season long for this team in down stretches. But if that guy can't shoot the ball because he's not feeling good, you don't have him out there. Especially in a dying situation where you need a basket. Look, he had back-to-back opportunities to win games with threes. But you watch his shot there compared to a shot in the regular season when he was not hurt. It looked awkward. He was trying to push it too much.
Mind you, Dwayne Casey did sit him in the Cavs series for a game or two.
But in the late game, you got to put somebody out there who is healthy and can shoot. I know Fred's the guy. When you're not healthy and you're really not healthy, it's affecting your shooting. Don't be out there.
Hold on. Okay, agreed with that. But he had 2 options: an injured Fred VanVleet, who's iffy. Well, who's a good shooter, healthy, iffy when injured, obviously. And CJ Miles, who's iffy whenever. Well, those were your 2.
I don't know who was on the bench at the time or whatever. Okay, could have been DeLon Wright or something.
Okay, but that's who your best 2 sharp shooters at that time. Who would you rather throw out there? An injured Fred VanVleet, who's a good shooter when healthy, a really good shooter when healthy, but he wasn't healthy, or a CJ Miles who was healthy, but even when he is healthy, streaky. I think I would have thrown out Fred VanVleet. Obviously, it didn't work. It didn't work at all. He missed 2 pretty much game-winning shots.
I don't know what his stats were like in the playoffs when he was pretty much playing with one arm. If he was that bad, then why is he playing in the fourth quarter when you need a big shot? You don't. It boggles me. And Dwayne Casey was having him out there, and clearly because there was a picture, a screenshot of the game or whatever going on, and you see Fred VanVleet like massaging his shoulder, and like the face is like he's squinting, like he's hurting so much. Why the hell is he out there in those situations? That's my opinion towards what Dwayne Casey was.
Agreed.
He took too long to take. For example, in game 1.
Okay, if he was agreed. If he was hurting that much in the game, why wouldn't he just sit himself out if he knew he couldn't play,
because he wants to play, he wants to be the guy.
But if he knew he can't shoot the ball, then why would he shoot the ball?
That should be the coach's decision. He should know this.
That should make his own decision. The player himself should know.
We're here talking about Dwayne Casey not being good at substituting.
I'm just saying, right? But I'm just saying.
Another example.
Go on.
Would be, I think it was game 1 or game 2. I'm not sure which one it was. Remember when Kevin Love was just grilling C.J. Miles, just absolutely eating him alive in the post, but Casey did nothing about it.
No,
he kept throwing him out there. He didn't try to change anything.
He's a coach where he's just set in his ways and he doesn't want to make any changes. That's why the bench mob was the bench mob, because it never came off the bench.
It never started. You said never came off the bench.
Sorry, right. Never started, but obviously that was working. But when it didn't work, he didn't change anything up. So what Nick Nurse is doing now, I'm loving it. If things aren't working, if a player's struggling, he's taking him out and then switching it up. And I think that's what he has to do.
A great example. I'm going to see if I'm right here. Actually, yes, I am. Kawhi Leonard only played 23 minutes in the game. OG played 25, DeLon Wright 24, Fred VanVleet 22, JV 21, all in the fourth quarter. I don't think Kawhi touched the court in the fourth quarter. Now, arguably, the Raptors were up by like 18 at the time, so it didn't really matter. And
plus, that game he didn't have a fantastic one.
Exactly, but he wasn't good.
He wasn't
so
good.
You didn't throw him out there. Yeah. You had the guys who were working it out there.
Good.
Playing. Siakam played 28. He played the team high because he was playing so well.
You ride with the hot hand. I don't care how good Kawhi Leonard is. When he's off, he's off. You throw a cold Kawhi Leonard out in the game when nobody's performing.
Yeah.
When Fred VanVleet is hot, you keep him out there. If Serge Ibaka's hot like he was, I don't know what game it was, but he had a career high in points and rebounds.
Yeah,
he
had
like
15
30...
of 17 shooting.
That's crazy.
Ridiculous.
Actually, it's crazy that his career high in points is only 34.
Well, I mean, he's never really been a guy who's going to score.
Even on OKC?
Well, I mean,
I was surprised about that.
He was
but
more
anyways,
or less a rim protector. But
true.
But anyways.
Yeah, but anyways, he had the hot hand, and I strongly believe if that was Dwayne Casey, he would have took him out of the game.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Even if he was hot. So what Nick Nurse is doing, he's riding the hot hand.
The way it should be done, man. Like this,
and that's not hard to do.
No. This is what we were talking about all last season with JV. When he's put up a big first quarter, you don't play him the rest of the game. Well, that makes no sense.
You play him. Listen, if you're struggling, all right, then you switch him out for somebody. But if you're having a hot hand, you keep him out there. If everyone's struggling, then you throw Kawhi Leonard out there. And if the game is just blown, it's done, it's whatever, like the Bucks game, you just rest all your starters in the fourth quarter and you just throw out, well, I don't want to say scrubs, but your
bench guys for that?
Lorenzo Brown, whatever his name.
Lorenzo Brown, Malachi Richardson,
Greg
Monroe, guys like that.
You throw out those guys because you know that the game's over, but you can't quit, so you throw out guys who are
just to get some work in, to keep them loose. I mean, and with a team as good as the Raptors are, they're able to do that quite often. I mean, they did today. They did against not Cleveland. I think LeBron, right? L.A. They did it against Utah. You know, it's great.
I'm quite shocked, not for the fact, because this team is looked at before the season even started as the best Raptors team in franchise history.
Yeah.
I'm just shocked how of a start we had. I would have thought it would have got at least 10, 15 games for the guys to get rolling. I thought we would be about maybe a little bit over 500 in the first maybe 10, 15 games, like I said, and then we would get it on.
We talked about it in the podcast, how it might take a month for this team to actually start gelling and stuff, and really it's the total opposite. They're kicking everyone's rear end. And look, they did it for the first time in franchise history. They had a 4-game road trip out west. The first time in franchise history they won all 4 games. You go to Phoenix, which has never been an easy place for the Raptors to play.
Surprisingly.
Right, it's weird. I mean, like the Jays and the Rays. No matter what the heck team each team throws in the
Buffalo
field.
Sabres.
Yeah, exactly. There's always that one team for anybody. And the Phoenix Suns in Phoenix, Raptors never have a good time. They go out there and they beat them by like 15, 20 points. You go to LA with LeBron, no Kawhi. That's not a good scenario. You go out there and you slap the living snot out of them. Then you go to Utah, elevation, back-to-back. They've been rested.
And a good team.
And no Kawhi. And you go out there and you have a tough first quarter and a half. And then the rest of the game, you dominate them and you beat them on the road. Then you go to Sacramento, another place, a team that the Raptors have never been good.
I'm surprised they haven't been good at Sacramento. In Sacramento.
I don't know why. Anyways, they go there with a really good young-looking team. I like the looks of the Kings moving forward. They have a really good young core. Whether they grow and develop, I mean, that's remained to be seen. But from what it looks like from afar...
Which they probably won't because it's the Sacramento Kings.
Yeah, agreed. But from what it looks like, they look like a good young team who can score the ball. And the Raptors go out there, and they beat them on the road.
Okay, so... Those 4 games you said, I don't care how good the Phoenix Suns are, you got to beat them.
Right.
The Phoenix Suns,
Agreed.
I agree with the Sacramento Kings. Yeah. Now, those other 2 games, which ones were they?
The Lakers. The Lakers in LA and then Utah on a back-to-back.
So those other 2 games, those were pretty tough.
Now, ideally, they didn't have Donovan Mitchell, and we didn't have Kawhi, so it really kind of...
And even itself fell, but they're still a great team without Mitchell.
Yeah.
And we're still a great team without Kawhi.
Yep.
So that kind of evens it out a little bit, but...
The Raptors' record without Kawhi Leonard is 3-1. The Raptors with him, 9-0.
Yeah, now obviously Kawhi is still open to exploring his options in free agency. Guys, I don't care how good we're doing. We don't know what Kawhi Leonard is thinking in his head.
Exactly.
We don't know. He if there was a trade offered tomorrow for him to be sent to the Lakers, he would probably accept it.
You know what? Did I read the quote to you about how he does not want he doesn't like the Lakers?
I saw that in an interview. They were interviewing him with Kawhi, and now he said that?
It was a quote that he said, "I am an AI guy, Allen Iverson. I do not like the Lakers."
I'm an AI guy.
So what's all the spiel about him going to LA and being with the Lakers?
Dude,
I mean,
Kawhi in his head,
it's media.
Exactly. No, it's me. Yes, it's
Kawhi
media.
Leonard is not going to come out and say that he wants to play for the Lakers. He barely says anything.
But he's not going to come out and he says that he wants to play for the Lakers, so he's just saying, "Oh, I don't like the Lakers." Maybe he does, maybe he doesn't.
Dude,
we don't know.
There's been no there's been no evidence to say that he wants to go to the Lakers. Look, there were reports whiles ago that DeMar DeRozan wants to go to play at home in Compton in LA. Clearly, he stayed here for the time being.
No, okay, so if he doesn't want to go to the Lakers, that doesn't mean he wants to stay here. We don't know what he's thinking.
I just don't like the media saying, "Oh, he's going to the Lakers because he wants to be there."
It's just for clicks. They've been doing it for years, so let's just leave it at that. We're 12-1, and hey, you know what? We can breathe a little bit, but we can't breathe that easy, I guess, because we're facing who next?
The Pelicans on Monday. Anthony Davis comes to Toronto, which I think one of his first times here. I know, it sounds crazy because
how often do we face the Pelicans?
That, and he's injured most of the time.
True.
They play tonight, so fingers crossed he can stay healthy,
fingers
and
crossed.
the Raptors, we can actually see them on Monday night at Scotiabank Arena.
Now let's get into this trade.
Yeah, big deal coming out today.
Exactly, blockbuster trade. The Philadelphia 76ers acquired Jimmy Butler from the T-Wolves
and Justin Patton, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, somebody who could just fill a roster spot. Mainly, Jimmy Butler is on his way to the East. Great. It's Dario Saric, Robert Covington, a second rounder, and I think another player.
I think that's it, actually. So it's Butler
Gerard
and center
Bayless, too.
Justin Patton to the Philadelphia 76ers for a package including Dario Saric, Robert Covington, guard Jared Bayless. Has he even played? No. He's...
Oh, wait, we had him on the Raptors, didn't we?
To miss significant time with injury. That was a month ago. So I don't even know if he'll even play this year. And in 2022...
Are you nervous about this? Because I kind of am.
You know... I don't... Honestly, it's a weird feeling to me. Him going there, I'm actually not nervous.
Okay. Do not think right now that we're 12-1.
No, I'm not. No, that's not what I'm thinking. Look, okay. Philadelphia, to me, is a bunch of ego young kids. You look at Joel Embiid. You remember when he was all talking trash to Andre Drummond because he got him kicked out because of a stupid flop on Joel Embiid's case? They ended up losing that game.
But that's what you
Joel
expect.
Embiid runs his mouth a ton. Ben Simmons can't shoot the ball. All he does is drive. I would gladly let him shoot a jump shot from anywhere on the court. He can't shoot a three. We all know that.
And obviously, Fultz can't shoot
free throws because he
can't shoot general. With the amount of young players on the 76ers, you expect egos. It's how management kind of hides their egos from other teams. And I don't know if the 76ers are doing a good job about it, but basketball is different from any other sport where they're more open, like social media wise.
Yep.
I'm bringing it back to the Leafs. they have way more young guys on the Leafs than the Sixers, but you don't really see any egos. Sure, there's egos in the locker room, but they don't exploit them on social media.
Yeah.
Like Matthews doesn't say, "Oh, trust the process" or something like that, or like a Leafs like a corny Leaf slogan or something. Obviously, Joel Embiid is very active on social media.
Yep.
He's active when it comes to talking on the court, which is great. But management has to step in and be like, let's just play basketball. Let's not worry about what other people are talking about us. Let's just play basketball. And sometimes I think they get inside Joel Embiid's head.
Because another reason I was saying I'm not like all that stuff is the fact that Joel Embiid is the guy in Philly. You can arguably say Ben Simmons, but
it's
honestly,
Joel Embiid.
Exactly. Jimmy Butler has always been the guy. He's now going there.
Yeah, agreed.
I'm assuming both players want to be the guy. So how's that going to mix?
And he wanted to be the guy. Now, I don't know if this was based around that Jimmy Butler wanted to be the guy on the T-Wolves, but I don't know how it started. Probably around there with him and Andrew Wiggins and Cat.
Yeah.
I think all three of them kind of wanted to be it. Management knew that it was always going to be Cat. That's going to be the franchise guy. Arguably, you could say Wiggins, but it was mainly going to be Karl Anthony Towns.
Yep.
Jimmy Butler obviously didn't like that. We're just speculating, but I think that had to do with some of it and also attitude issues as well.
So if we're hearing that Jimmy Butler is going to be the guy in Philly, how is Joel Embiid going to take that?
The only possible reason I think that he would re-sign with Philly is just to win a championship. I'm sorry, but I think that the 76ers are a better team without Butler.
I agree.
Than the T-Wolves with Butler.
Agreed. I do agree with that because we haven't heard.
So, and now with Butler, the 76ers are a powerhouse in the East. I don't care how good we're doing.
No, they're good. They had the Jimmy Butler right there and then you're going to be a powerhouse type of
without really
team.
to give up anybody. Now, their depth is questionable.
Yeah.
They probably have one of the worst depths in the league. I would
just
honestly
traded
say.
Dario Saric and Robert Covington. Covington's a guy for them who can really shoot the three.
But as a trade, without looking about their weaknesses,
and all you had to give up was a 2022 second round pick.
2 bench guys, well, technically 3 bench guys, and a second rounder. That's great. But why didn't the T-Wolves do the Rockets trade? Maybe because they're in the West?
Well, maybe that trade wasn't legit and people are just trying to stir up things.
It was. Woj said it.
Did he?
Did he? Yeah.
Okay, well.
He said it. So the only reason why I can see that they didn't do that is because obviously the T-Wolves are trying to compete with the Rockets in the playoffs in the season. I could see if the Rockets were and the T-Wolves were at, spectrums of the conference, if one was on a rebuild and the other was top in the West. But they're both pretty much in the mix.
Right.
So that's the only reason why I can see the T-Wolves didn't accept the 4 future first-round picks. Like we said in the last podcast, it's like the Brooklyn and Boston Celtics deal.
Yeah, exactly like that. And the question I have now is, now that Jimmy Butler is gone from Minnesota and everybody can stop talking, like in Minnesota, everyone is thinking, well, great, now we don't have to hear about this stuff anymore. Yeah. What's the next step for them?
I think it's just compete, and you're getting a cancer out of the locker room, and I think the young guys have to develop with each other, and Derrick Rose, he is looking like...
Comeback player of the year?
That is a possibility, and I really think he's going to win it. He dropped 50 points.
Yeah, it's one game. But he has been good this year.
He's been great this year. And I think that, like you said before, comeback player of the season, if that's even a thing, I'm pretty sure it is.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I look at a guy like Jimmy Butler as a really big impact player for the 76ers. But you know what? As we've seen in Boston, great players, yeah. Kyrie's great, Gordon Hayward's great, Jason Tatum's great, and all that stuff. But I don't know, it's not mixing right now. I mean, Gordon Hayward hasn't been great. They're 7-5?
Yeah, they're not doing good. Mind you, you have Gordon Hayward, you have Kyrie Irving, you have Jason Tatum, you have Jaylen Brown, you have these players. Sure, they're struggling. They're gonna get back to form. I almost guarantee it.
It's tricky for Gordon Hayward, though, man. He came off some obviously, we all know it was one horrific injury.
Oh, it was, but it's still Gordon Hayward.
Agreed.
Same thing with Derrick Rose. Obviously, Derrick Rose's injury was worse, but like Derrick Rose, he's showing that form again that he obviously not MVP caliber, but he's looking to be a pretty good 17, 18 point per game player.
You're talking about Gordon Hayward?
I'm talking about Derrick Rose.
Okay.
I'm kind of comparing them to two because both of them had horrific injuries.
Yeah, well, Derrick Rose had more, obviously.
Obviously, yeah, more.
But
same kind of injury with the Achilles or something like that with his knee. I don't know.
Just terrible, whatever the heck it was. But I don't know. There's a lot of questions surrounding the NBA right now, like when it comes.
Yeah, hold on. Okay, so of this trade, would you a win for Philly or a loss for Philly?
It's tricky. I mean, I think you look at it right now before they've even played a game, and it's a win for Philly. But it's a risk. Now, they didn't give up much, so that's okay.
They gave up much for their standards because they have no bench, but as a whole, no, they didn't. Like, if you just looked at these guys on paper without looking at their roster, the 76ers roster, they're whatever players.
Yeah.
But since the 76ers don't have depth, this hurts them.
It really does. And will Jimmy Butler be able to mesh with all these guys? Jimmy Butler's a shooting guard, right?
Yes.
Have they been starting JJ Redick?
I think so.
I honestly check their last game and see if he was starting.
But I don't think JJ Redick is really gonna say anything because he's not looked at as a hostile.
No,
guy.
I'm just saying. But if he's their starter, he is their starter actually right now.
How's he doing?
I'm just gonna check to see how he's done this year. 17.2 points a game.
Yeah. I mean, he could easily come off the bench.
So he hasn't started any game actually, except for this one game started. So
I would give it a win for the 76ers.
I definitely would.
They honestly They shot their shot. They shot it, and they got a pretty good deal for somebody who is going to get them deep into the playoffs.
Yeah, I think it's a big thing for the Sixers, and I think it's going to be a good thing moving forward for them. I think do you wrap that up there, or do you have anything else you want to talk about basketball-wise?
Let's just go around the league here. Let's just see what's going on, if you will. For standings-wise, any shockers? Any shockers? I'm quite shocked. I get the Cleveland Cavaliers weren't going to make the playoffs. I didn't know.
Hey, Tristan Thompson, how's what is the record? 1-10.
I didn't know that they're going to be doing this bad. 1-10.
Well, Tristan Thompson talking smack before the first game against the Raptors. How's that feeling now, bud? I think your mouth is pretty darn quiet after that.
A little surprised with Phoenix. I'm not going to lie. With Ayton being on the team, with Booker obviously being amazing, they're 2-9.
Well, you could arguably say about Dallas too. With Dennis Smith Jr. and Luka Doncic.
But you know that they're on a rebuild. Phoenix has been on a rebuild for 10 years.
I think everybody and their grandmother will agree with me when I say that Houston Rockets are 4-6.
Yeah.
And the Utah Jazz are 6-6. Two dynamite teams last year.
And then you got the Memphis Grizzlies who are 6-4.
And the Sacramento Kings are 7-5.
And then you have the Denver Nuggets, who are 9-3.
Well, they were all right last season. They barely missed the playoffs.
They were, and obviously Golden State. So, a little surprises, but nothing really to, So, we are watching the Leaf game here live on the podcast, and Tasman actually scored a nasty goal.
I mean, Garrett Sparks didn't really get across at all there.
No. No, he did not. And Halak's in net for Boston, am I right?
Yeah, I mean, look, see, this is why we talk about hockey, guys, as, it's not about... how many shots you get, because the Leafs are up 22-13 in shots, and they're down 2-0.
Yeah.
Look, when people get mad and say, oh, Leafs get outshot again, oh, typical Leafs are just so bad defensively. But did they win?
Now, a lot of shots doesn't mean we're good defensively, but they have so little. No, obviously, we're
not playing bad.
No, we're not playing bad. And I think we're obviously losing Austin Matthews. This is the first time on the podcast we talked about this. Austin Matthews is out. Now it's 3 weeks. Before it was 4 weeks with something to do with his shoulder. Separated shoulder, something like that.
Yeah.
The emergence of our fourth line recently.
Even third line, too.
With Tyler Ennis. With Andreas Janssen.
It's Freddie Goat with Ennis and Levo.
Okay, well, I'm talking about Janssen's goal last night.
Oh, okay. Third line with Andreas Janssen, Par Lindholm, and Connor Brown. Those guys have been Connor Brown has 2 goals in his last 2 games. Par Lindholm has 3 assists. And Andreas Janssen scored his first goal of the year last night.
Mind you, their goalie, Keith Kincaid, was horrendous last night.
Yeah, he was terrible. But their defense didn't help whatsoever either.
No. In the last 10 games, what are we? I think we're 6-5, I think.
That's 11 games, but...
Oh, my bad. 6-4.
I think it's probably something.
It's
like
around
that.
there. I don't think we're 7-3.
Yeah, 6-4.
Okay. We're struggling as, we're looked at as a team that could score in the first half, well, not really first half of the season, but in the first 5 or so games of the season.
Yeah.
Couldn't do it in the last 4. We did it last night against New Jersey.
And you did it against Pittsburgh a couple games ago, too.
And now we can't score against Boston. So all I know is they're looking at Austin Matthews' injury, all right, being in leverage for Willie Nee.
Yeah.
I don't believe that for 1 minute. I think Dubas is set on his price, 6.5 to 7 mil. And now, Leaf fans, I think we have to have a little bit of a discussion. Yeah. I'm nervous, and you're nervous as well.
Absolutely.
So
I didn't think it would get this far, but yet here we are.
Yeah, and the 2 teams that were really interested was the Carolina Hurricanes and the Flyers. Both teams having great defense cores. Goaltending not so much on both teams. So, I hate doing these types of things, but now I wouldn't be opposed to thinking about a trade option.
Now, I'm trying to bring up here, if it'll load and everything, it's actually the teams that have been interested in him and their defenseman that the Leafs would probably look at. But, of course, it's not going to load here for me, so we'll get to that in a second. But, yeah, I think right now, the way this team is kind of going right now, and the goal, like we said, the goal scoring is kind of shriveled up a little bit for a consistent standpoint. And obviously with Austin Matthews out, you need some more help on the goal scoring front. Now, here are the teams here here it is: Carolina, LA, Philadelphia, Minnesota, and the Ducks. So I'm going to read them to you. I'm going to read them to you. From the Carolina Hurricanes, you got Brett Pesce, Justin Falk, and Valentin Zykov. Those are the 3 guys that they have listed here as possible players.
I would love Brett Pesce.
I would too. You look at the LA Kings, you got Jake Muzzin, Cale Clegg, their former, first-round pick or something like that?
I think he's a first-round pick. I don't recognize the name.
Tanner Pearson as well.
Jake Muzzin I would love.
Shane Gostisbehere, Travis Sanheim, and Philip Myers on the Philadelphia Flyers.
If there's some way we can get Gostisbehere for Nylander straight up, I'd take that.
Well, you never know. Minnesota, that's been a team that we've been linked to a little bit with Jared Spurgeon, Jonas Brodin, and Matt Dumba. I'd love a Matt Dumba. But
even a Jared Spurgeon.
And I just love the way Matt Dumba plays the game hard. He's got a good shot. He can skate well, and he can play physical. I mean, that's what we don't have on this team very much at all. And then the last one on the Ducks, you got Brandon Montour, Josh Manson, and Josh Mahura.
There's defensemen out there, but my question to you, my statement to you, if the dude's asking for $8 million at this point, wouldn't you just give it to him? The cap's going up.
But
contracts are off the board.
Is the question. I mean, that's what we don't know. And are you going to really risk paying him $8 million and then have a really tough time signing Austin Matthews and Mitch Marner?
Okay, now, my point to that, any player we get back is not going to be as good as him, as William Nylander. I don't care how good Brett Pesce is, Matt Dumba is. We're not... Listen, I would love Shane Gostisbehere.
Yeah.
For one, there's no way that Philly's going to do that. 1 for Matt Dumba, there's no way that Minnesota's going to do that. We're going to have to do a package like Jared Spurgeon and maybe a third.
Yeah.
And it's Jared Spurgeon, I would even say, isn't even half the player that
William Nylander is. Yep.
Could be. He's still 22 years old. Jared Spurgeon's like 27, I think. He's capped off. He's a great defenseman, but he's capped off. So, that being said, you have options. I think, would you be mad if Brett Pesce would be going the other way straight up?
Yes.
I would too, but the circumstance of the situation, listen, he's not going to play after, it was what, December 1st?
Yeah.
I saw that Marinson just got a penalty. But yeah, under the circumstances right now, teams are going to lowball offers. Well, Marinson just got beat. That's not the first time that we've seen that.
He's playing, I'm not too sure.
Who scratched?
Ozhiganov.
Okay, let's not worry about this game here. Let's talk about the matter at hand. Teams are lowballing the Leafs.
Yeah.
And we're obviously, now it's the time. Dubas is actively on the phones. He's actively shopping William Nylander.
We assume so.
We assume so, and I honestly think so at this point.
Yeah. I mean, I think right now you really have to look that way, because unless there's some internal things that is going on with William Nylander and Kyle Dubas, like getting some contract things sorted out, then that we haven't heard of, then fine, that's fine by me. Yeah. But if there's nothing going on and talks are just staying put, and Nylander's camp is like, you come back with us a good offer, then we'll talk. Otherwise,
we're staying put.
No thanks. I don't know if that's the case, and if that's the case, then I think you got to look trade front.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
because you're not losing him for free.
Look, you signed Nylander for $8 million, like you were saying. What do you sign Matthews for? What do you sign Marner for?
You have, right now, we have $12 million. Go on Cap Friendly right now if you do not mind, sir.
Sure.
We have, I think, as of now, $12 million. Ron Hainsey's contract is up this year.
And would you look to trade Patrick Marleau in the offseason?
Hold on. Okay. So let's just do the math here. $12 million as of right now. Ron Hainsey's contract is up this season. That's $3.5 million.
Yeah, that's good. That's
right?
Nice.
That is nice. Jake Garner's contract up. That's 4.5. Again, he's a great defenseman, but his contract's up.
Yep.
So right there, that's over $20 million.
I'm trying to find this here. Okay, so...
Well, just close to.
So Josh Levo is an RFA. Par Lindholm is a UFA, actually.
Just look at the main ones.
All right. So you got Mitch Marner, Kasperi Kapanen, Andreas Johnsson. Who's that? Tyler Ennis, and obviously William Nylander at 22 years old. Where have we got here? UFA of Jake Gardiner. He's only making $4 million.
Okay.
Ron Hainsey making $3 million.
Okay.
Well, that's 3-0 Boston now.
Okay.
This is terrible. That's only $7 million. And if Nylander wants $8 million, that's not even not figuring that out, right? And that's losing 2 of your defensemen.
Yeah.
Then you throw Martin Marincin, who's a UFA after this year. Do not re-sign him, please. Thank you. And Igor Horjiganov, we know.
So there's no dead salary on this team.
No.
And so pretty much there's $7 million eaten up in players we don't necessarily need. Jake Garner, I get it, but let's just say that we don't re-sign both of them. That's $7 million plus a 12. You're looking at close to $20 million. Mm-hmm. William Nylander, $8 million. That's only $12 million left. You can't really sign Matthews for that. I don't know if you can.
It's tight. It really is, and that's why the Nylander. That's why the Leafs don't want to have to give Nylander $8 million.
Yeah, and I think that out of those teams you said, what is the most likely you think that's going to happen?
Carolina. I think they've been the team that's been most linked to the Toronto Maple Leafs.
I think so too.
But from there, I don't really know.
Would you rather Slavin over Brett Pesce?
Isn't Pesce a right-handed defenseman?
Yeah, Pesce's right and Slavin's left.
So no, probably not. But
so just Pesce, I guess, maybe straight up.
I don't know. Like we can sit here all day and talk about mock trades and everything.
Well, now is the time we kind of have to do it. I get it's only December. Well, as we record this podcast, it's November 10th.
Yes.
Where does it say that?
November 10th.
November 10th. There's still 20 days away.
Right.
But it's something we have to discuss.
And we haven't really heard anything happening here, unless in the next week or whatever that we hear that they're getting close or what. Look, honestly, I don't even know what's going on, because back like a little while ago we heard, Kyle Dubas is going to Switzerland to talk to Nylander.
What happened there,
right? And then not too far after that, well, actually quite a bit after that, we hear that they're nearing a deal. It could be done in 48 hours to 72 hours, and we're like, wow, this is great. This is going to get done. We haven't heard squat since that.
It fell apart. Both parties are tired. Both parties are frustrated. They're fed up. And there could be something going on right now. There could be something, like you mentioned, working right now. We have no idea. Heck, the deal could be done after we record this podcast, like we always say.
That'll probably end up happening, too.
No, it won't. At this point, I really think that I don't have a good feeling about this. What about you?
Neither do I. I really don't. I had a good feeling in the offseason. I thought Nylander and his camp would be fine. And even a few games into the year, I'm like, you know what? It's happened before with this agent, but I think it'll get done at some point. We're here in November, and it hasn't happened yet. And there's been no discussions.
I remember when we signed Janssen. It was Janssen, Gauthier, I think somebody else.
I think it was just those two, wasn't it?
I think it was one more guy, and it was like, sweet, I guess Nylander is going to be signed in the next day or two.
And this was like mid-July this was happening.
Yeah, and we've come to this. So it's something that we have to talk about.
So you're telling me that these guys, during this time, of, like we said, mid-July. We're almost mid-November, so do the math. July, August, September, October, 4 months.
Well, yeah.
5 months, however you want to do the math.
I mean...
Of nothing, and we're expecting it to get done in 20 days? I don't know.
But both parties know that it's ending quickly, and both parties know, listen, if you don't sign before this time, you're not playing in the league for any team.
And you think about William Nylander, what's best for his hockey career? Like, pay-wise, yeah, it's probably the best for him to leave. But does he want to win?
Or, I mean, even if we get Brett Pesce, he's still making, I think he's making close to $5 million, Brett Pesce. I know he signed long-term.
I don't know what
it's around
his money
4,
is.
I'm pretty sure. So, you have it at that. I mean, man, I'm just really tempted just to sign the damn thing.
I really am too, but, I mean, I think a lot of Leaf fans are, but then those Leaf fans are not thinking about the Matthews and Marner situations as they are, you know? And
apparently, though, on the Matthews front, they're pretty much, the deal has been done with Matthews, apparently, and they're just waiting to announce Willie Nee.
Well, I mean...
Because Matthews, it's easy. You're looking at $12 to $13 million for Matthews.
Oh, yeah. But is he Connor McDavid money? I mean, there's obviously that question.
I believe so.
You think he's Connor McDavid worthy?
Listen, if McDavid is making... If McDavid is making just over... what is it? $1.5 million more than Tavares? Yeah. John Tavares is not the player that Connor McDavid is, obviously not. But McDavid's making $1.5 million more than Tavares.
Now, I mean, you could arguably say that Tavares went through free agency. So, it's a different scenario in that sense.
Oh, someone offered him 13. So he took a pay cut. So I don't buy that. And with Matthews being the goal scorer like he is, that we haven't seen since Mike Bossy, arguably.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, yeah.
I think he's worth $13 million.
Well, I mean,
I don't want to listen. I want him to sign for $5 or $6 million, like anybody else would in the cap era.
And I'm going to change this up a little bit here. If you're the Arizona Coyotes, they have no fan base. We all know that, right? Yeah. They're a team that has been not very good for quite a while now.
Yeah.
And they have some good-looking young players, but really haven't taken any steps.
Nothing's to gel.
Exactly. Do you think they offer him Austin Matthews an offer sheet of something crazy?
Yep.
I mean, honestly, if I was in Arizona, I would definitely do that because that would put butts in the seats. Having a hometown kid.
I would offer him $17 million a year. I mean, honestly, at this point, Arizona's desperate. Mind you, realistically, they won't, but they should think about it. Even I would hate to see it if I was a Leaf fan. I would hate to.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But I don't think they would. But realistically, they wouldn't. But I think that it would be somewhat smart to do it. Yeah. You don't have a first-line center. I don't care about Dylan Strome. I don't care how good Derek Stepan's doing right now. Yep. I don't really care. You don't have a franchise guy, and you never had a franchise guy other than Shane Doan.
You still don't have a goalie.
And is Shane Doan going to be in the Hall of Fame?
No, that's an argument for a different
But I don't think so. Right? So, in Matthews, if he keeps the same pace, is going to be in the Hall of Fame.
Right.
So, you have... But offer sheets, they're very rare.
Right.
They're very rare. The only time it's happened was with Shea Weber with Philly. Philly offer sheeted Nashville, and obviously Nashville countered the offer, or matched it rather.
Yeah.
And then it was that, but that's why he has such a crazy deal.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so I'm going way off the point here. But if Arizona offer sheeted him $15 million, if I were the Leafs, you would have to match it.
Yeah, you would. Absolutely. But the question, you beg the question, right? What happens with Marner? And if you have Nylander at the time, would you be able to keep him? Yeah. You know, there's so many other questions.
There is, but
that's why I think really, truthfully, I think if they don't get this Nylander deal done, and if they do end up moving him, or whatever happens past December 1st, you give Matthews a pen, and you sign him right now.
And the fact that even if we trade him, William Nylander still has to sign. Trading isn't the big deal here. A team is going to want him on their roster this year. He's going to have to get the deal done and also, trade him as Dubas. So either Dubas has to do a sign-in trade, which I don't think he's going to do. I think he's going to unload Nylander, and then that team is going to work out a deal for him.
Well, do you think if they sign him and trade him, do you think they get more back? Because they didn't have a deal in place?
Yep, I think so. I don't know if they're going to do that. I think they just want...
I don't think they would do that, though. I don't think it's the way of the game now.
No.
But when it comes to Willie Nylander,
I think they're just going to trade his rights to
he's
a
an
team.
amazing talent. We continue to forget how really good he actually is.
Keeps getting better. He's 22 years old. He's only spent 2 years in the league. Almost... He had, a 69-point season last year, and I think in his, sophomore year, I think it was a bit less than that, but he is looked at as a great player, and with this team without Matthews for, 3 weeks now, I would love him on the Leafs right now, especially when we're losing 3-0 to Boston.
Yeah, it would be nice to have an Austin Matthews in this situation right about now.
Yep.
But we don't have him, so that's just all there is to it right now, guys.
I'm quite speechless. But the Buds I think they're on the... No, they just came back from a road trip.
See, this is where things get interesting. They won that game yesterday against Jersey. Yep. They're obviously on the road against Boston now. Then they go on their West Coast swing. L.A., San Jose, Anaheim.
Well, Anaheim has not been doing well.
None of them have. The Kings have been terrible. They don't have Jonathan Quick. The Sharks are barely hovering over 500. And so are the Ducks. So it's not as daunting as it once used to be.
But it's still daunting.
It's still the West Coast road trip.
Yeah. I mean, and like I said before, thank goodness for our depth when it comes to the bottom six.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't really show tonight, but I'm just saying with Tyler Ennis, that beauty goal.
Oh, yesterday. Whew. Roof that thing, man. That was beautiful.
Oh, no, exactly. But yeah, just looked at as a team. The Leafs right now are looked at as a team that fans don't know if we can survive without Matthews. I don't know if we can honestly survive without
Matthews.
Matthews.
Neither do I. I'm not too sure either. We really haven't been able to learn that.
And well, right now we kind of are. But see, the Leafs aren't really consistent with Matthews. Without Matthews.
Yeah.
2 losses here, 1 blowout win here, another 3 losses, another 3 wins.
Yeah. It's very all over the place, really, for the Leafs. But I mean, look, the Leafs can lose 5-0 here tonight. They can lose 1-0. All it is 0 points. In the long run, that's really all it means.
If we don't get into overtime, but yeah.
But you know what I mean, though.
It's a lose. Yeah, it's a loss situation, and it just kind of sickens me because we were doing so well until I turned on the TV in the mid first. So maybe I'm bad luck.
Well, who knows?
But enough with the Leafs. Let's talk about something in Ottawa. The Ottawa Senators, there was a video online, obviously, about the Uber incident where a couple of players, I think it was Chris Weidman, Alex Formanton, Matt Duchene, Thomas Chabot.
There was quite a few of them in there.
I think it was Chris Tierney, and that's it. I know there was
quite a few of them. Yeah.
There's quite a few. So basically, what happened? This was in Arizona. I'm pretty sure. If you've not seen the video now, they were caught on video surveillance, I guess.
Yeah.
In
some guy had his camera going.
Some guy had his camera going, and they caught the Ottawa Senators players talking crap about the management. Ottawa, I think it was their assistant coach. They were mainly discussing.
Yeah.
And I think it was Matt Duchene mentioned that he hasn't paid attention in 3 weeks to any meetings or something, and like they're just sick of the drills that they give them, and
this just adds to the Ottawa drama that's been over the last year.
Now, first, before me and you discuss this, because this is a big topic,
it's huge.
We get that the Uber driver should not have done this.
No, you should not be filming anybody in the car.
No, not that, because you can film. Technically, you can film people in the car if you're Uber.
It's still really awkward for everybody.
No, you shouldn't put it out there.
The fact that he went out there and published it online is the problem that is of hand.
Everyone talks shit about their boss.
Yeah. I mean, look, some people do it all the time. There's probably Leaf players that do it. I do it. You do it. There we go. I mean,
everybody does it.
Everybody does it, guys. And look,
so we get
it's the fact that they got caught. That's the problem.
And it's the fact that this Uber driver should not have posted it online and sent it to the Ottawa management at all. We get it. It's a bad thing. It happened. It's terrible what the Uber driver's done. Now, going to the Ottawa player side of you. There was 2 people in that video that really talked a lot. Chris Weidman and Matt Duchene.
And Matt Duchene is not the guy that should be talking. He's one of the main fronts, obviously, on that team.
And he's a veteran.
Yeah.
He is a veteran player, and you have someone like you said, Alex Formenton, who's what, 19, 20?
He's in Kingston.
He doesn't
right
know
now,
any better.
He's in junior right now, anyways.
Yeah, I think after
back.
the video he got sent back.
Yeah.
To a junior, but this isn't the first time I think Matt Duchene's done this. There has been another, I don't know, video, but something on Colorado Avalanche where he did something similar to it.
Yeah.
But with this, it's you should be you should be setting an example for these young guys.
That's what you're there to do.
Thomas Chabot, there's two brand new guys.
Lajoie, I think his name is too, the defenseman.
I don't know if he was there.
Well, I'm saying like setting an example for. I mean, in general, right?
Chris Tierney was there. How long? Chris Tierney is a brand new teammate.
He just got acquired in the Karlsson deal.
So, I mean, I think Matt Duchene being a leader on this team, because I think that Matt Duchene with Erik Karlsson gone is the guy.
Yeah, oh, for sure it is.
Well, right.
Arguably Mark Berwicky because he's a stud. But,
for sure.
But on the ice, I think Matt Duchene, like statistically and the way he plays the game, yeah, he's probably the leader out of the guys. Obviously, Mike Hoffman, or you could say Mark Stone too, but one of the
Mark
leaders.
Stone and Matt Duchene. Now, both these guys, being Chris Weidman and Matt Duchene, their contracts are up. I think those two aren't coming back.
You think they trade him at the deadline?
It depends where Ottawa is. I don't think deadline. I think that they're just going to let them both walk, in my opinion.
They won't try and get anything back from Matt Duchene. That would be interesting.
They don't have their first, so why would they get worse? See?
That's very true.
They're in a tough decision. Listen, if you're Chris Weidman, you shouldn't talk at all. You could be sent down like that.
Yeah, and then you're going to be let go like that. I mean, Frederick Gauthier is trying to fight somebody. I love it. I'd love to see that.
It's
David Backus.
Maybe just stay out of that one.
Size-wise, it might be all right, but
toughness,
I'm not too sure about that.
But anyways, so I see. But this has just been a terrible, terrible 18 months for the Ottawa Senators, and this doesn't help.
No,
we know that the Uber driver, apparently he wasn't in the right state of mind. He was inebriated when it happened.
Right.
But it doesn't mean anything, right? And the reason why he did it, now this is a big part of it, when they left, they didn't tip him. Now, I'm guilty of this. I don't tip Uber drivers.
I don't even think I do, too. I don't know. Because
it prompts you about 15 minutes later after you take the Uber. It should prompt you for the actual tip page or whatever it's called on your phone.
Once you pay for it initially.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
But no, it apparently happens like 15 minutes after or something like that.
Yeah.
But with this going on, it's just another eyesore for the Ottawa Senators organization.
That they don't need. They really don't need that right now. They've
No.
already have so much drama going on over there right now. Obviously, with the whole Mike Hoffman situation, that now he's gone. Karlsson, well, they can't re-sign him, and they don't want to re-sign him, or he doesn't want to re-sign. And
Karlsson?
Trade him.
Oh, yeah.
Erik Karlsson, yeah.
Erik Karlsson.
And now, with this situation, you're basically saying, Matt Duchene, you're going to be gone. Chris Weidman, you're a schmuck, but you're gone too. So,
And you put all your eggs in this Matt Duchene basket. He's been good this year.
That first round pick you don't have for this year, Matt Duchene.
But the Ottawa Senators are a pretty good team right now.
Well,
I mean, they're surprising me and you, and you don't have really anything to show for it. Now, I don't know why this always happens. When Ottawa does something stupid, Montreal says, "Hold my beer."
Yeah, well,
so something's in the works right now, folks.
Well, I mean, anything that because Montreal has got to be the center of attention all the time.
So yeah, he's like, no. We're watch this.
Okay, whenever the Montreal Canadiens and Marc Bergevin, I know it's probably not Marc Bergevin, but I'm just saying, whenever the Montreal Canadiens say watch this,
you watch it.
You darn well watch it because I'm watching it.
Ooh, nice hit. But yes, you watch it, and I would not be surprised if they sent down Drouin to Laval. I'm joking.
Oh, just scare Montreal Canadian fans right there.
I'm sorry, Montreal Canadian fans. Reid-Foley, my boy. We're sorry.
Yeah, come on, dude. You just scared him there.
Sorry, he's not being sent. I mean, I did see a report that he might be. I'm joking.
Well, what reason, huh?
No. What source?
Uber?
What source?
Yeah.
Heaven Brown's mind.
Oh my God.
No, but
That's
anyways,
terrible.
we're just talking around about Montreal. But with Ottawa, I don't know anymore.
Honestly, they confuse me. They really do. What prospects do they have?
Thomas Chabot, man, he's
already
looking
on
like
there.
a North.
He's already
candidate.
on there. Prospects, minor leagues. Colin White. No, wait, he's there too.
Brady Tkachuk. Well, you can't. Well, you can say prospects that are on the team in their first year, like
I
Brady
guess.
Tkachuk, Colin White. They're honestly, they've surprised the heck out of me, and I think you too, everyone.
For right now, I mean, it is our 15, 20 games into the season, not even. So it's
still.
It's so hard to say, really. But is it gonna be 4-0? No, missed the net. Oh God, Sparks.
Maybe we should just shut this off.
No, I mean it's embarrassing, just watching this.
Yeah.
Anyways, but the fact of the matter is, the Ottawa Senators are in a horrendous situation.
Not at the moment because they're doing well. I can see.
Off ice, they're in a terrible situation. They have so much drama under their team. They thought they finished that after trading Mike Hoffman and Erik Karlsson. Clearly, that hasn't happened because you still have at least two other guys, that are in your system or in your organization that are being idiots.
Yeah. Now, do you blame management for this? I do a little bit because
there's lots of people you can blame for this. You can blame the players for saying, you can blame the Uber driver for bringing it out, and you can blame the management for being the way they are.
Because I don't think, now, again, bringing it back to the Leafs, I don't think anybody on the Leafs actually like Mike Babcock. I don't think so.
No, but they know what he
Now, are
is.
they actively going to say that?
No.
They could maybe call up another player and kind of complain about Babcock and whatnot. Yeah, okay, but that's kind of personal. You don't do it when you have another, especially at the beginning of the Uber video.
Yeah.
The Uber driver asked them, you play any sports? Because the Uber driver heard them kind of talking about a coach. So the Uber driver asked them, what team do you play for? They could have lied and said, we just play for fun, a beer league. We're a couple of frat dudes.
And that video never would have come out then.
But they said, we play for Ottawa. That right there, the Uber driver would be like, okay, well, I'm going to be quiet and let's just see where this goes. And for them to not give him a tip at the end, that just set him off.
Yeah, big time.
He was inebriated. The Uber driver was drunk at the point.
Last thing we're going to say with this subject is, if they actually tipped him, would he have done this? Would he have let it go viral?
I don't believe so. I don't know who ordered the Uber, but he's probably just thinking to himself, I should have tipped that goddamn Uber driver.
Well, that's the question. I mean, that's the question that we'll really never know.
Exactly.
But I think we're going to wrap up the hockey segment right there.
Agreed.
We're going to go to the ballpark, and really not much going on.
Well, congratulations to the Boston Red Sox, us being Blue Jay fans.
Congratulations to Steve Pierce.
And David Price.
And Steve Pierce.
Okay, Steve Pierce being named MVP. Congratulations to him. Grew up a Boston fan. I actually think he's a Boston native.
Well, something like that.
Something like that. And to David Price as well. I don't care how salty you are.
Yeah, whatever.
But us being Blue Jay fans, we'd hate to see this, but they have an amazing team. You said that they're not playoff performers.
Yeah, and that's everybody with the Washington Capitals. And it happened. So, there you go.
So you're eating your words.
Like you were eating your words in hockey sometimes too, so don't worry about it.
Like what?
Dude, it happened. Come on, your predictions. And
if you say something that I ate my words to, I agree.
Yeah, 3-1. Is that Tavares? Yeah. All right, live on the podcast. Could mean squat if you guys listen to this tomorrow. But anyway.
Still, maybe the start of a comeback.
Well, I mean, you're down 2 goals going into the third. Bruce Cassidy is not happy.
He's not looking good. Is that Christopher Stieg?
Okay. Christopher Stieg, was he dead now or something?
Is Christopher Stieg dead? Well, let us know.
Well, I mean,
in the comments below.
So, I mean, he's dead to the league now.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. But anywho, congratulations to the Boston Red Sox. They played an unbelievable.
Christopher Stieg.
They only lost 2 games in the whole playoffs.
Yeah, they did. They did do very well. They didn't. I think they went down 1-0 to Houston, and then they came back and won all of them.
Yeah.
I mean,
so
it is incredible.
A huge shout out to them, and that's just. Can you believe I saw a flag actually of something? It was a flag of the Boston sports teams in their championships. Can you believe? So the Red Sox won it, I think, 3 times in the 2000s. Yeah. Patriots won it 6 times in the 2000s. Celtics have won it once in the 2000s. The Bruins have won it once. Dude, that's like 12.
And what about Toronto teams? Well, Toronto FC's won.
Hey, Argos. And the Leafs,
that's really about
Leafs can't get past the first round, and the Raptors can't get past LeBron. And the Jays
so now we're the
can't
Blue
get
Jays.
Past the Indians.
They can't get past themselves, for goodness sakes. But anyways, to the Blue Jays, the only really thing that we're going to talk about here when it comes to, well, not the only thing, but
it's going to be the shortest segment. Let's just say that.
Where is he? Charlie Montoya is found. So Dave Hudgens is their new bench coach. We found out on this past Wednesday, about that being done, as the Blue Jays are hiring him instead of DeMarlo Hale. And put this into perspective, who this guy is.
Yeah.
The Astros can hit the ball, right? Very well.
Yeah.
He's their hitting coach. So if you want to and he's been around there a long time.
Yeah,
so he's been through the rankings with these young players.
I actually saw a video of Vladdy singing "O Canada."
Yeah, with one of the coaches, Stubby Clapp, I think his name is. And...
Stubby. I didn't realize he had that much of an accent.
Oh yeah,
he can't speak English, can he?
No, not very well.
But hey, you know what? Being in this city for a long amount of time, it's gonna teach him.
Oh yeah, for sure. And he's so young, right? So he'll learn. It won't be much of a problem here. But I think he's ripping it up there in the Arizona Fall League. Nate Pearson's been good lately. Look, Jays fans, I mean,
yeah,
the off season's here, and free agency's about to start, and I mean, look,
I can almost smell the Blue Jay season's coming up.
It's not really. It's only November, but
I can smell something.
Well, February is it February? Yeah, February.
That's spring training.
Yeah,
late February.
Yeah, late February.
So we got all winter to see what off-season moves, because I guess free agency is kind of coming up.
Yeah, it's really close. And the question, I think there's tons of big fish out there. Now, the Jays aren't going out there at all and getting any. Bryce Harper, Manny Machado. There's some big guys out there in free agency, but I don't expect the Jays to go after anybody like that. I think they're going to go after some kind of what they did the last year's off season and go after some veteran guys for 1-year deals. I think Jays fans, as much as we last year was a grind for all of us watching this team play and watching this team really not play well for that matter, we did get very excited once we saw all the younger players coming up, didn't we? And I think next year is going to be kind of the same thing, but I think it's going to be more of the younger guys. I think you're going to be seeing more of Rowdy Tellez. I think you're going to be obviously seeing a lot of Vladdy Jr. past April. I think Lourdes Gurriel Jr. is going to be a guy we see obviously a ton. Ryan Borucki. You could see Sean Reid-Foley depending on how his spring goes and all that stuff. I don't know. I don't know what this team is going to be looking like when it comes to the first game of the season for the Jays. I don't know. Is it at the end of March again? I'm not sure if it's at the end of March or early April. Because I know this past season they started the year late March, which was quite weird. But for this team, I think next year is going to be a lot of younger players mixed with veteran guys like this year. I think a guy like Tyler Clippard would be a great one. Like those kind of signings, like John Axford as well. And if the Jays aren't near a playoff spot near the trade deadline, which we kind of assume that they're not going to be as of right now, you look at the Jays and you're like, you know what? Then you do what you did this past season. You trade off some of your guys, get some more younger players, right? That's what's going to have to happen probably, because I mean, who the heck knows? All these youngsters could come up here and everyone can tear it up, and you could be a playoff team. I don't know. It's crazy, but when you look at stats and you look at all these things that the Jays, I guess, don't have, moving forward and into free agency, they're probably going to go after some veteran guys. We've heard links to Jay Happ, obviously, being returning as a Blue Jay, but I think a guy you look at, or I think Jay Happ, he's in a really weird situation.
Because you re-sign with the Yankees, or do you go off to greener pastures? Because I don't think the Yankees are going to offer him.
Well, not even that. The Blue Jays have been linked to him coming back, and he's always loved Toronto. It's right. It's why he re-signed back when he did. Ideally, because they made the playoffs that year before, and it looked all so much fun and everything. But the fact of him being a free agent, Jays fans loving him, and Atkins loving him, and him loving, and Jay Happ loving Toronto, that's great and all. But for his sake, would he come back? I don't know.
To a rebuilding team.
I would love him to come back because he would be a great veteran guy to have with Ryan Borucki. Wow. Yeah. Guys, Elliot Friedman's here on TV here. It's the intermission here. And Saturday headlines, William Nylander is on the block.
If this was accurate, and he declined comment, but to our information, Nick, that's where we are at this point.
Wow. So Kyle Dubas declined that he's on the block, but I mean he's comments. Basically, he declined that. But we can't just do this on the podcast, dude. We're live right here, right now.
Well, I want to hear what's going on.
Well, I know you want to hear this too, but I mean, come on, we're live on the pod.
Okay. So William Nylander is pretty much.
You guys, I hope you guys can hear this. If you can, then.
Until the end of November in the last minute. A lot of suggestions saying that number would have to be around $18 million for 3 years, but right now still no traction.
And history tells us, guys,
18 for 3 years. That's $6 million a season over a bridge deal.
but it's not going to happen.
No.
That's what Nick Kiprio said. Oh, yeah, sorry about that. I'll go on with the Jays.
It was
J.A. Happ, but before J.A. Happ even...
I think
even when we signed him for the second time, he knew that we were rebuilding. So...
Well, no, he didn't.
Oh,
we just made the playoffs for that. We just did. The Bautista bomb was the year before, and he's like, "Wow, I'd love to come back here." And then they made the playoffs the second time around.
Is a 35-year-old going to come back to a rebuilding team?
That's the thought process, and he won't want to sign a 1-year deal. He's going to want a 2 or 3 year deal. Will the Jays want to give that to him? I don't know. And for him, wanting to be like at his age, he would want to be on a contending team. Yeah. So. It doesn't look like a fit scenario, but it also does in a sense because the Jays have Ryan Brucke, a very good-looking young lefty. You'd want him to learn from J. Happ.
And we need a pitcher.
Yeah, so that's why I'm like, would J. Happ fit? Kind of, but the term and the money, I don't know. I don't know how it'll all work. Yeah. That's up to Atkins, Shapiro, and J. Happ, for that matter, to figure that out. Yeah. But...
It's just something that we're going to have to, I guess, just wait on. Because free agency's what? I was in the bathroom when you were talking.
It's very shortly. I don't know exactly the date.
Like a week or like 2 weeks?
I think it's less than 2 weeks. I think it's a week or 5 days or like less than a week or
whatever.
We're
going to be talking, I guess, about
free agency very
free
soon.
Agency,
I mean, it's going to be crazy.
I can't see us being that active.
I think the Jays are going to more or less look at the trade front than the free agent mark when it comes to what?
I wanted to talk about the Joe Quenneville departure, but
we can get into that in the next week. Yeah. Next week. Well, on Thursday. Anyways, with the whole, I think the Jays are going to go trade market more than free agency. Like I said, like when you were in the bathroom, I think they're going to more or less do what they did this last year's offseason and get veterans on 1-year deals, like we did with Granderson, Clippard, Sungwon. Guys like that. And if things don't go well, throughout the season and you're not a playoff team, you trade them off for younger players, as they did this past year. I think that's what they're going to look forward to do again. But I think trade market is a big thing for this team. Look, as much as I love some of the players that we have on this team, I think you got to look trade market and move some of these middle infielders. Solarte, look, I want him gone. I don't even want him to play next year for this team. I don't think he will because they rejected they declined his qualifying offer. And you look at a guy like Aledmus Diaz, Devin Travis. They acquired Brandon Drury in the J. Happ trade. You have Lourdes Gurriel Jr. I know I'm missing some other. You have Vladdy Jr. coming up at some point too. That's a lot of infielders for 3 spots. Yeah.
Well, so
you look to
a lot of competition, especially for training camp.
I mean, do you look to move 1 or 2 of those guys for some young pitching or some young outfielders? I don't know. I don't know what Atkins and Shapiro are looking to go at when it comes to the trade market and the free agency market moving forward. For me right now, usually we have a plan going into the offseason. Like this past offseason was, let's get some pitching and just some outfield depth.
You have no idea what to expect.
They could trade some guys. They could just stay pat and sign some older guys, and that's about it. I don't really know what's going to happen. But I mean, it's all remain to be seen.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm just gonna sit back and let the dominoes fall as they may.
And plus, a brand new manager, let Shapiro and Atkins do what they've been doing. Let them stick with the plan, and I would give them another 2 years. In 2 years, I want to be competitive.
Yeah, I can't see why I don't agree with you there. It's perfectly right. I can't see why that's a problem. What is this? A potential playoff bracket?
They just showed the Florida Panthers versus New Jersey, I think, in the wild card.
Well, I see Toronto and Boston in the same spot as last year, so that's not what I want to see. Anyways,
let's
gonna wrap it up. Yeah, do we have questions? Do we have?
Let's move on to fantasy. So week 5 is almost in the books.
Okay.
Right. So this is gonna be a weekly thing we're gonna be doing.
Okay.
And it's a tight race. I think that you're leading.
God dang right, I am 4-1, baby.
All right, well you're on a bye week, so
I'm taking a rest. Don't worry about it. I gotta rest my boys up.
Oh yeah, I gotta rest them up. Who's injured?
Probably my goalies, but all they give you is minuses anyways.
Yeah, I didn't understand that. Every goalie I put in's a -8, -4.
Unless they get you a victory.
My goalies never do that. I have Matt Murray and Varlamov, and Tuukka Raska's out now.
Oh, Brock Besser's on the IR.
I guess. So let's
week to week with his injury.
Here.
No, goddamn.
So in the East, we have Eric Johnson in first, buddy. You're 3-1. I lost to you last week.
Well, he's probably playing this week. Hold on, he's playing this week, isn't he? Eric Johnson. No, he's not playing this week.
Oh, I guess we have 2 bye weeks.
So me and him are on the bye week. Okay.
Oh, okay. So we have Eric Johnson, obviously, on a bye week this week. Evan Brown at 2-2. All right, I got to step it up. We got
aren't you winning right now? So you'll be
I'm winning.
3-2?
I don't know who I'm facing, actually.
You were playing the Brampton Eskimos, and you were crushing them by 50
Oh,
points. So
all right.
you'll be winning that one.
So
going
we got
3-2.
New Orleans Brass at 2-2 as well. Who's he facing?
New
Orleans Brass is facing Pittsburgh Penguins, and then we got Team Foley at 0-4. Man,
And he's getting beaten up by.
Hey, you want your former captain?
You gotta calm down a little bit.
Yeah.
You gotta calm down over there. I don't even know what you're talking about now.
Okay, and then we have Frank Morris, the Stallions, at 4-1 in the West, so he's beating you.
He's tied with me. We're both 4-1.
Who's Frank Morris facing this? Is he on a bye?
I think he won actually.
Then let's go to Fanca. Oh, he's facing.
Yeah, he's being Everly Hills, so he'll be 5-1.
You said he was on a bye week, or no? This was last week probably.
He's 5-1 right now, or he will be after this week.
You said he was on a bye, so this was last week. You're doing. You said Eric.
Where's my team?
Okay, but didn't you say Eric Johnson was on a bye? You said that.
Oh, okay. Well, he's losing right now, so he'll be 3-2. There you go.
So he was slotted in, I guess, during the week. I don't know. And then we have you at 4-1, which is obviously going to drop.
I'm not 4-1, baby. All right.
John Murray at 2-2.
Murray.
Team Fortnite got at 2-3.
And he's going to win this week.
So Sultan CG, I guess that's the Pittsburgh Penguins.
And he's beating New Orleans Brass right now. So there you go. Little fantasy update.
Little fantasy update for you guys. In the questions, we have one, I think. That's who's that guy's name again?
Look, you're asking me. You're the one that always has the questions popped up.
True.
Here.
I should know this actually.
Did you put questions out yesterday?
No, I put them out 2 weeks ago.
Great. Okay.
We'll just go to your mentions, dude. Very prepared, like always.
Hey, you're the one that always has them.
There we go. There we go. Oh my god, right there.
Oh, there's A-Math. Yeah, there's no
34.
questions. Look at that.
There was questions.
There's one. Roderick, what's up, man? Why do you think the Leafs have a 3-4 record at home and a 5-0 on the road?
I think we talked about this. I have no idea.
Well, right now, I think they're 5-5 at home.
Technically,
and 6-0
wherever we go on the road, it's home. Well, except for Boston, actually. But
yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it's the white jerseys.
You could arguably say it's the pressure of playing in Toronto. You could arguably say that.
But other than that, we have no idea. So I guess that's going to wrap it up for episode 34, guys. Thank you very much. We're going to stay consistent with this as much as we can.
Thursday,
episode 35. So get your headphones in, listen to in the car, at work, at home, when you're cooking dinner. We don't care. Listen to it.
On the can, I don't care.
Well, that's what I was doing.
Okay, well, good job. There you go.
Exactly.
Keep diversity. Love it. Sitting on the can while listening
Well,
to the podcast.
that's multitasking.
Exactly.
While blowing your nose.
Wow.
Ain't eating.
And then wiping your butt. How do you do that with headphones? I think that must be tricky.
It's tough. It's really tough.
I mean, but good for you, though. I mean, you're able to do it. So, I mean, I give you props for that.
But you know what? At least I can do something.
Okay, so we'll talk to you guys on Thursday, episode 35 of the podcast. Thank you guys.
That's regular time.
Yeah, regular time. If I wake up, I will set like 5 alarms on many different alarms to wake myself up there. So we'll be good. Guys, we thank you so much for your support every single podcast upload. We'll put it that way.
Remember at the start of this, we said, every Tuesday?
Every Tuesday, and it's gone to every day we actually can.
Because that's James.
Yeah, that's my schedule. It's all over the place, but I don't know. Anyways, guys, we really appreciate your guys' support every single week, and it means a lot every time we hear some good comments about it. It really does mean a lot to us. And I will talk to you guys later on tonight at my girlfriend's. Leafs edition is there. Going to finish this game against the Bruins. We're down 3-1 heading into the third.
We don't know how it's going to end.
Who knows? Maybe we can have a big comeback against the Bruins. That'd be crazy. And Evan and I will talk to you guys on Thursday, podcast edition, episode 35. And who knows what the heck we're going to be talking about. Nylander traded? I don't know. We're going to have to wait and see. Evan and I will talk to you guys then.
Peace.